Yes.
Before we talk about where we are, we must first remember from whence we came. Marty Schottenheimer brought winning football back to Kansas City and built what is now known as Chiefs Kingdom.
We transitioned from a team built on its defense in the 90s to one of the most dominant offenses and return men in NFL history, led by Dick Vermeil.
In 2012, a 2-14 Chiefs team displayed disastrous play on the field and turmoil off it. We asked to save our Chiefs, and in came Andy Reid, who immediately turned this franchise into a perennial playoff team.
Then, on April 27, 2017, the Chiefs broke free from their journeyman quarterback restraints and drafted Patrick LeVon Mahomes.
In 6 years with Patrick at the helm, we're back-to-back champs and a dynasty headed towards a three-peat. We are unrelenting for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the allies. Arrowhead Allies.
For 3 weeks, you've watched. For 3 weeks, you've waited. For 3 weeks, you've rested. And now it's time to buckle up, get the chin straps on, and get ready to get locked and loaded for NFL divisional playoff weekend. It's on the horizon. The stage is set. 8 teams remain in the National Football League. In fact, guys, the same 4 from 2024 are here in 2025 on the AFC side. And so for the Chiefs on Saturday at 3:30, hosting the Houston Texans. Guys, it's been a nice little break. We've had some fun conversations. We've had some stress-free weekends. But it's time to go. It's time to get back locked in. And I know each and every one of these 3 gentlemen is locked and damn loaded.
Hell yes. Hell yes, we are. This is what we've waited for not only since December 25th when we had ourselves a Merry Christmas, when we clinched home field. This is what we've waited for since the Super Bowl ended. We had 16 weeks of we had 7 bad weeks of where we just kind of floundered our way through the season. But this is what we've waited for since we held up that Lombardi 11 months ago. This is what we're waiting for.
The season begins this week. This is what I said on Twitter as soon as I saw that the Chiefs were preparing to take on the Texans. We knew who they were facing. This is when the season began. The season began as soon as they got done with the Steelers game, to be honest with you guys. They were just sitting there waiting to see who their next victim was. And you saw the ramp up. You saw the Chiefs getting ready. As we were talking on this show, as we said on The Spoken, I know this season's been tough, just like a little bit like last season. Maybe not as tough because guys could actually catch on this team this time around. But this season had its own stresses. We'd get on this show and we'd talk about it. We'd rip our hair out and then we'd like, well, they're still on a massive win streak, or they've lost one game to this point, guys. We'd always end up coming back to that. There was always a solace to it all. And that's where we're at now, because we've been waiting all season. This team's been talking about this. You know how Carrie Underwood says, been waiting all day for Sunday night? The Chiefs have been waiting all season for the postseason. And that's where we're at now, fellas, and I'm ready to dance. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we take a look at the injury report here for this game. We talk about how the Chiefs haven't played since Christmas. Well, the result of that is pretty much everyone except for McCall Hardman is a full participant in practice, everyone getting healthy at the right time. Is there going to be a rust factor? We can get into that later, but you like seeing Isaiah Pacheco when he went out with that rib injury. Like, how is that going to be a long-term thing? He's a full participant. Juwan Taylor, DJ Humphries, Mahomes, Chris Jones. You'd love to see this. And for the Texans, Azeez Al-Shaair, who's kind of the dirty hit guy. He laid the hit on Trevor Lawrence and got suspended, and he's had some others throughout his career. he's got this knee injury that's flaring up on him. He did not practice. Neither did Robert Woods, and they're already down on the receivers with Tank Dell obviously getting injured against the Chiefs. You see Shaq Mason, their guard, he did not practice. Nico Collins was limited. Danico Autry, these are big-time starters for them that they're relying on that either did not practice or are limited. So things are already kind of going in the Chiefs' favor here early on.
Well, you got to respect this opponent, guys. And I know that this Kansas City Chiefs team overlooks no team and no opponent, even though I think Kansas City should be able to, roll through this game. I mean, that's not something that we should say lightly, because we know that at times it's not always that easy, and I don't expect it to be easy. The Texans have already been here a couple days before Christmas. On December 21st, the Chiefs won that game by 8 points, could have easily punched in another late touchdown, and the score wasn't as indicative as how dominant it was. But the Texans, you got to respect CJ Stroud and what he's done, and winning a playoff game in his first 2 wildcard rounds, his first 2 years of his career. And we know that the offense was not as high flying as it was a year ago. No Tank Dell. That injury happened at Arrowhead Stadium. We're going to talk about it, but this is kind of, if you're a Chiefs fan, if you're me, like, this is what you wanted. Obviously, you would probably wanted Pittsburgh to knock off the Ravens. They probably would have taken that. But when you're looking at these opponents, and realistically, Houston coming to Arrowhead, you'll sign up for that. You probably didn't want to see the Chargers for a third time, and so this is what you get. And I don't think there's, as a Chiefs fan, you fear no man and you feel no pain, like Big Van Vader would say.
This game, the Chiefs have to go out and prove that they're the better team, because obviously they are, and I think they will. And we'll get to our predictions obviously near the end of the show, but I think now's the time where you say, you know what, we're here and you're here. We're dynasty. You're a team on the small rise. This is where you put your hammer down and you say, you're just next step. It's time to crush you.
Yeah, and if you guys look at the national media, which obviously you guys know I'm obsessively looking for receipts every single day, and I like to collect them. The narrative out there, because obviously the Bills beat the Broncos pretty handedly, I might add, this week, advancing to the divisional round. We talk about how, Josh Allen has just owned the wild card. He's, just moved through the wild card every year since his first season as a full-time starter. And, there is praise to be had there. Some of the all-time greats did very well in the wild card, because not everybody gets a 1 seed like the Chiefs every single year, it seems. But as to be said about Patrick Mahomes in this divisional round, you guys have seen the stats floating around out there, and I'm sure Noah's probably got it ready as far as what his numbers are, so I won't steal that thunder. But the Chiefs have been absolutely dominant in the divisional round in the Mahomes era, so much so that they have never not made it out of the divisional round. And, when I look at this matchup, guys, and this is something I find really interesting, as we lost Clint there, hopefully he'll return, but
those numbers.
And let me go dive deep in that cave of numbers. You saw there was a little bit of an imbalance in the way the Chiefs did this. Remember, we talked about, and I was kind of bringing this up, guys, about how the Chiefs were kind of experimenting in some of these games, especially at the tail end of the season. I think this is one of the most particular ones we need to pay attention to, because obviously this is going to be a second go at it with the Texans. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 41 times in this game. You might think that's a lot. It's actually not. For the majority of his career, he averages around 37.5 attempts per game, so it's not that much more. But it's the fact that the Chiefs just had a very imbalanced attack. They didn't run the ball a lot. Kareem Hunt led the team with only 11 rushes, and Isaiah Pacheco only had 9 for 26, whereas Xavier Worthy had 11 targets. I don't envision that being the case in this one. I don't think that Xavier Worthy is going to get 11 targets, just like I envision that Kareem Hunt's not going to lead the team with 11 rushes. I think the Chiefs are going to counteract and counterbalance the rush attack of Danielle Hunter and Autry and Will Anderson Jr. by running.
Settle.
Yeah, oh yeah. And you notice he's been pleading the fifth all week. That's kind of funny how that works. But I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball a little bit more than we're expecting in this one. I'm expecting north of 30 rushes, and I'm being dead serious here. I'm not saying 15, Pacheco, 15 Hunt, but I think there's going to be a combination of Mahomes extending, because as we guys know, he's well rested now. That leg injury is not there anymore. I think he's going to extend some drives with third downs. I think the Chiefs are going to play a little bit more of a short game in this one than we're anticipating, and are going to score points, but I think it's going to be in a little bit of a different format, because also they know they're going to have to be ready for whoever whoever they would face in that conference championship, whether it be the Ravens or the Bills, because that team's going to come in here wanting blood, man, because they had their opportunities to win last season in their houses. Now they're going to want to have revenge going into Arrowhead and getting that from the Chiefs in their house. So the Chiefs, I think they're going to play a little bit more of a methodical style because they know they can beat this Texans team with their B game, hell, even maybe their C game, but I think they're going to go out there and play a very efficient style of football offensively and let the defense make some big plays against C.J. Stroud on that weak offensive line.
Yeah, and I mentioned Tim Settle, so let's go ahead and relive that. And this cut up, it was kind of a special one done by Brad Henson Productions. You see him all over Twitter and social, so go check him out. So we'll thank him for this, and let's check out what Tim Settle said last time the Chiefs played the Texans.
Pat's a little banged up, so I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I hope he's mobile enough because we coming in Arrowhead.
You guys plan to get after that?
Yeah, for sure. Pat better make a good decision. I ain't making no threats. I'm making promises.
I got you.
A few moments later.
Perfectly done by Brad Henson Productions there. And yeah, Tim ran his mouth last time. It got settled. And so I guess Mahomes is just going to have to settle again. He's not going to let a sleeping dog lie. Just because you didn't say anything this time doesn't mean I don't remember what you said last time. And we're going to put it on that ass again.
Yeah. I'm surprised C.J. Stroud was able to recover emotionally from what happened in that game to even beat the Titans in week 18 and win a playoff game. He looked destroyed. He looked like their season was over. It looked like, hey, that's my best friend Tank Dell that just got hurt in a freak play in the back of the end zone. And so to me, CJ's body language, and he's a great guy. I take nothing away from him, and I really like his game. And I know he didn't have the kind of year he did as a rookie here, but, I think that for the Texans, it's like, you think back to 2 years ago when we hosted the Jaguars here in that divisional game as the 1 seed, and how you just, like kind of Shane alluded to, there's a hierarchy here in the National Football League, especially when it comes to AFC quarterbacks. Guys, I don't know if there's ever been a time in history when they say that you got to have a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl, right? Well, you can't win a Super Bowl in 2025 with a great quarterback. I don't think you can win one with an elite quarterback. You've got to have a first ballot Hall of Famer quarterback. And this is just sort of what the bus would look like here with AFC quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is saying seats taken. No one's sitting up front with Patrick. And you got guys, hey, and this could be proven wrong. This could all change after the season. Everybody loves this divisional matchup, Bills and Ravens. And the winner of that probably coming to Arrowhead. That's probably what we're going to be seeing happen here. And the media is all about it. They say it's the greatest divisional quarterback battle in NFL history, forgetting the fact that just 3 years ago, the Chiefs, Mahomes versus Josh Allen in that 13 seconds game. We'll just forget about that. It's all recency bias. But look at this bus. Not even a guy like Joe Burrow is able to get to the front of this bus and try to get it. Justin Herbert sitting there looking sad. That guy may never win a playoff game.
Hey, Anthony Richardson all the way back there?
Glad you mentioned that. Yes, it is. I was able to fit him, and he's trying to jump out of the back of the bus, actually.
Colts are going to throw him out.
And, you got guys like that people really like. Denver loves Bo Nix at quarterback, right? He's a great rookie quarterback. In the AFC, you better not throw rocks at a guy that's got a machine gun. And I don't think that anything less than a generational quarterback is going to win you a Super Bowl if you're in the AFC.
Well, yeah, and you also got to see whether these AFC guys can prove it, because we just saw what Justin Herbert did against a proven defense, a defense now that's won 2 playoff games, who had 4 interceptions on, I think, 36 pass attempts. We had 3 interceptions all of last season, or all during the season. I mean, the thing I'm looking at when it comes to this game for the Chiefs also on the defensive side is what C.J. Stroud's going to do when it comes to the weather. We got to remember, this is a Houston team, a team that plays in a dome in a warm state. And if we saw last season, guys, I don't know if you guys remember that the game that he faced the Ravens in Baltimore. That was an ugly game. Now, obviously, C.J. Stroud was a rookie, but he did the opposite against the Browns, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, just the week previous when he was at home and warm environment, 70-degree temperatures, dome. He destroyed that Browns defense. The very next week, guys, I mean, I have the numbers right here. They lost 34-10. He was 19 of 33 with 175 yards, 0 touchdowns. I mean, this is the kind of I'm going to be real with you guys. I think there's a much greater chance that C.J. Stroud has a game identical to that, if not worse, that has a very good game against the Chiefs defense. Because like Noah alluded to, literally everybody outside of McCole Hardman, who may not even get a play in this game because Nico is being impressive in special teams and even on offense when given the chance, we're seeing a full tilt of the defense for maybe the first time all season where they're all healthy at the same time and are all motivated as hell to get this three-peat going. I would not be shocked, guys, if this defense put an absolute hurting on CJ Stroud in this game, where they just shut him the hell down, like the Ravens did last year. And I think it has a lot to do with the temperature, the energy of the stadium. Like, these are things we have not seen CJ Stroud overcome. And if we're going to criticize guys like Justin Herbert, rightfully so, my God, he has not proven anything to this point when it comes to whether him or not. Stroud's got to show whether him on the road or not, boys and girls, because Stroud hasn't shown that yet to this point at all. And it's still early in his career. He can change that, but I don't think it's this week, fellas. I'm not trying to downplay the Texans. They deserve to be where they are. They were a good enough team, and I respect the hell out of D'Amico Ryans, who's a hell of a head coach, but I just do not envision anything where the Texans can come in here with any type of blueprint or game plan that's going to supersede or outdo what Andy Reid's already got cooking with Spags and the fellas, guys, because I do not envision it. And if you guys can think of something, help me out. But behind these glasses, I've been studying, and I've been burning the midnight oil, boys, and I can't think of a thing, guys, that they can counteract anything the Chiefs are about to bring to them on both sides of the ball.
Agree 110%, buddy. We're lucky. We're not lucky. We are the number 1 seed. This is our opponent. We're a number 1 seed. You're number 4 seed. You aren't here yet. You're on our way.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at what the Texans have to offer, and Nico Collins is banged up. That's one of their weapons. Dalton Schultz is pretty good, above average tight end. CJ Stroud doesn't seem to get him the ball enough for my liking, especially with missing Tank Dell. So you're not super worried there. Joe Mixon can hurt you here and there, but with a porous offensive line, their right guard is injured. I just don't know this would be an epic collapse if the Chiefs lose this game. I'll just go ahead and say it. People think, well, this is close. It's going to go either way. And yes, the Chiefs play close games. I hear you, but with that poor offensive line, I think the only way the Chiefs can lose this game is if our offensive line crumbles and allows Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson to go off. I just don't see that being the case. I think our defense is going to be able to slow down Nico Collins with Trent McDuffie, who did a presser today talking about the challenge of facing him. He's looking forward to that. He's going to handle business there. It's not going to be some huge 100+ yard game for Nico Collins. So I just don't know if they have enough weapons left to really hurt the Chiefs with their stellar defense. And then as great as the Texans defense is, I just don't know if they can really do enough to keep them in this game, keep it close, and
real quick, a victory away. Did you guys? I don't know if you guys thought about this real quick. I wanted to hear your thoughts on it because I'm not going to go on a big old bind on it. But the adrenaline dump they just had against the Chargers, causing 4 turnovers. You know, having this just stellar ending, this climax to this game where their crowd's going nuts. D'Amico's running up and down the sidelines, pumping his fist. The crowd's going crazy, and they just found a way to dominate the Chargers. For you to be able to carry that over on the road against a proven championship team who's 20+ days rested in 20-degree weather, I'm not trying to disrespect the Texans here. I'm just trying to contextualize this matchup. After something like that, it's going to be so difficult for this young Texans team who just did all that they could do to beat a Chargers team. Let's be real, guys. They should have scored more points because as bad as the Chargers were, the Texans still couldn't capitalize. And if it wasn't for C.J. Stroud making that one play when he fumbled the ball and still found a way to make that throw, that game is a lot closer than it actually probably should have been. Yeah. It was those defensive plays that really put things together. And I'll agree with you. If Alshire doesn't go, this could get ugly quick for the Chiefs. This could feel very much like the Rams-Vikings game where it just from the get-go, you're like, oh my God, the Rams are just outmatching this team. This team is just broken physically and confidently. They have nothing out there that can counteract what the Rams are doing offensively. And the Rams front seven just tagging the quarterback. Darnold got sacked 9 times. I can see it being a very similar situation for the Stroud and the boys because their offensive line is just as bad, if not worse, than the Vikings outside of Laramie Tunsil. So Chris Jones can have himself a big day. George Karlaftis can have himself a big day. I think there can be a collection of sacks in this game and giving the Chiefs some short fields and opportunities to tack on some points.
You guys, there is a line here. Okay, if Tiffany Amber Thiessen becomes single tomorrow, please God, there's going to be a line forming. And guess where I'm at in that line? I'm at the end of it. In the National Football League, you got to get your ass in line if you want to win a championship, if you want to advance in the playoffs. You think about, you talk about the adrenaline dump. How about in 2016 when the Chiefs went to Houston and won their first playoff game in 23 years, I believe, at that point in time, and to then have to go to New England the established, the greats, Brady, Gronk. There was no one. I were at that game, and we had no chance, and we didn't even realize it at the time. Noah said maybe it could happen. Maybe Tom Brady will fumble a snap, but there's a line to this. There is greatness forming at every turn here. You're talking about Lamar Jackson can't win a damn thing, and he's unlike any athlete we've ever seen. Josh Allen, he's an alien. We've never seen anything like this talent. He hasn't won anything. The only person that has, and there's only one. And to be the man, you got to beat the man, and you're going to have to walk that aisle, and that aisle leads to Arrowhead Stadium, guys. And that goes for Lamar, and that goes for Josh Allen too. Next week, you got to get in line, and you got to beat the man to be the man. And I'm saying right here, that's the man right there. There's only one.
Yep. There can be only one, as Highlander would say.
And that's why the Texans fans are out here saying things like, we got to target Mahomes' throwing arm and dive at his joints to get him out of the game.
There you go.
So clearly he knows that that's their only chance, although it's disgusting to say that publicly. But, some people that's the way they go. And, of course, the meme of Patrick kissing a ref and, let's get revenge for 2019. We're going to shock the world, man. And it's just kind of what you expect from a team that realizes they have no chance and just are grasping at straws. And let's talk big before the game happens. And then, okay.
Isn't it wild? Isn't it wild they got to make a meme about Patrick Mahomes doing something that Josh Allen and a ref actually did? It's just kind of wild.
That's right.
It's wild.
That's right.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, here's Josh Allen, ref coming up to Josh Allen, and I'm sure this is how it went. The ref saying, "That's my fault, Josh. I'll do better job down the stretch to help you guys win. I got you, buddy." And then Josh is showing him his bleeding thumb, like, "Come on, a flag, something, help me.
Can you kiss it?"
Josh has become that guy, guys, and we can't ignore it. And great players, great quarterbacks, everybody. If you don't have one and you're just watching this unfold, you hate Josh Allen. You're tired of Patrick Mahomes. I get it. But Josh Allen, my goodness. And I like Josh. We met him at Lake Tahoe. We interviewed him there. He's a super good guy. I just think that you are starting to see a little bit of this, like, I don't know, this arrogance, this entitlement. And that's not really like the Buffalo way. The Buffalo Bills fan base is just as blue collar as it gets. And like something about this just doesn't feel right. And, as Chiefs fans, we got to be protective. Like, to not allow one of these other three, it's not only are you trying to get a three-peat, to not allow a Josh Allen and Lamar to get to a Super Bowl and start like changing that narrative. That's just as important, because this whole thing changed 2 years ago in the AFC Championship game. The entire AFC, this whole legacy changed on that 15-yard personal foul, late hit out of bounds that gave the Chiefs a chance to win that game with a field goal. It all changed, because up to that point, it was Joe Burrow just beat Mahomes the year before in the AFC Championship game. They went to the Super Bowl. The Bengals are the team. The Chiefs have only won one. Chiefs going to win the Super Bowl 57. They repeat in 58, and then the whole thing's turned on its head. The Chiefs recreated this whole legacy in just one game, in one moment. So that's what you're protecting. Not just a three-peat, not just Mahomes, not just catch Brady, not just GOAT. You're keeping these other guys at bay.
Yeah, think about the pressure that's on guys like Josh Allen right now. Like, obviously, it's on Lamar Jackson too, but at least Lamar Jackson has won multiple MVPs to this point. And has hosted an AFC championship. Like, he can rest his laurels a little bit more than what Josh has. Josh has literally won, like you just said, Clint, he's won literally nothing. And he's going to be 29 this next season. He's going to be 29 in about 100 days, in about a little over 4 months. The pressure, now people, that's not old by any means, but Josh's style of play is hinging on a lot of his athleticism. Yeah. That goes away when you start to get in your 30s. Naturally, just as an athlete, it just happens. And so the pressure for Josh to win right now is immense. I would say it's bigger than anybody else in the league right now, because everybody just constantly heaps praise on this dude. He's a freak. Tony Romo, I hope he got a plan B after that game the other night, because, my God, the dude was, literally just making love to Josh Allen over the freaking airwaves. That game was disgusting. But Tony Romo, dude, like, the guys like that are not alone. There are tons of people like that across the skyline that praise Josh this way. So I think there is some built-in arrogance, because he reads his own paper clippings, but at the same time, he knows, well, I got to start backing this up, because you can't think of a guy throughout history that everybody tries to compare, is who's Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes is Peyton Manning or Ben Roethlisberger or Drew Brees. Who's that other guy? They always try to like piece them together. There is no comparison for Josh Allen. You know why? Because all those other guys at least won a Super Bowl or an MVP to that point of their careers. He hasn't done any of that. And he's honestly more talented than any of them that you can mention. So the excuses are going to start running real dry really quick for Josh Allen if he doesn't start winning individual accolades and team accolades really, really fast, guys, because his time, more than Patrick Mahomes is or any of these other pocket-style quarterbacks, is going to run out a lot quicker, guys. And that's the scary thing for him, man, is that I don't think that Josh Allen's a guy that's going to play 16, 17 years in this league. I think he's a guy that probably plays 13 or 14 at most, and that's what we got.
Well, perfect timing. Joining us currently, our guy, Joe Theismann, former Super Bowl MVP. Joe, thanks for joining us. This is, like I told you when I texted you earlier, this is sort of Joe Theismann week here. I mean, Washington Commanders playoff win, Notre Dame to the national championship. Some days the world just opens up and shines brightly onto you, doesn't it? Oh, look at that.
Let me change the lighting in here.
It's too bright. I have my glasses on.
It's the touchdown Jesus there from Notre Dame. The light is shining brightly, and it is touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame to the game, man, to the title game, the college football playoff. It's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I mean,
you look good, Joe. I think we're good.
I'm working on it. I'm in a hotel room, so it's it's always a challenge when you're in a hotel room.
it's okay, Joe. It's all good, man. Look at you. What a great week it's been here for you.
Oh, I'm telling you. Not only that, I look like I'm sitting in London.
Great. We love
Just
it.
say you are.
I'm in sunny London. Hang on one second here. Let me try something. Let's see something here. Nope, that's not good.
There we go.
Joe Theismann
Hey,
after dark.
look, there we go.
There we are.
The fog is lifted.
The fog has lifted. I'm working on a trifecta. A lot of people don't realize this, but I played for the Toronto Argonauts, and they won the Grey Cup this year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Notre Dame can take care of Ohio State, and Washington continues to do what they're doing. It's an awful lot of fun.
So I just need an Argonaut in this photo, and then it'd be perfect. So.
That's a great photo. Appreciate
Also
that.
got you as an honorary Arrowhead ally here. So
Oh my! Look at that.
Not only that, Joe, little surprise for you, just because, I was born in February 1984. We went through my baby book over Christmas, and look at this. My mom wrote in my baby book, biggest names in sports in 1984. We got Julius Erving, Dr. J, George Brett. I'm from Kansas City. Pete Rose, Marcus Allen, and Joe Theismann with his name spelled wrong. She missed an N, but that's okay. You're in my baby book, and now fate 40 years later, Joe, this is beautiful.
Here we are again. She's forgiven. That's all I can say. Totally forgiven.
Well, Joe, I got to ask you, I'm going to start off with a two-parter here about the Chiefs as we move through the playoffs. They're in the divisional round. Of course, we'll get to your Commanders' impressive win. But starting off with the Chiefs, kind of a two-parter here. Do you think they haven't played a game since Christmas? Do you think that's going to hinder them as they move forward here against the Texans? And then we've all heard the narrative about the Chiefs and the refs, and they pay the refs. They're in the pocket. So they get all the calls. What do you make of that? Do the Chiefs get favored calls from the refs?
I will address the second question first. No. I don't think they get any more calls than anybody else as far as calls go. I just don't see that. If you look at these games, referees are missing face mask penalties. It's just there's a bit of inconsistency in a lot of different areas. So I would absolutely say no. And as far as the Chiefs go, they're used to having time off. This isn't like a one-up for this football team. They're used to having a bye. They're used to having some time off. They're used to getting people healthy. This is when they really become most dangerous. The difference this year and last year is most of the season last year, they just didn't catch the football well. Then they got hot at the end. They haven't had that problem this year. They're still catching the ball and still doing very well. So, if you're a betting man, you got to look at the Chiefs and say, here they are again. I do think Baltimore, I think definitely Lamar Jackson's playing better football than he's ever played in his life. I think Josh Allen's almost in the same situation. And to be honest with you, you can't take the Houston Texans lightly this week. They haven't played. They've been up and down and erratic all year, but they played a really good football game last week. And they have the weapons to be able to threaten, and you know that they can be aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, it's however you're looking at any of these games. And I think Kansas City's in a very precarious situation with the Texans coming in.
Interesting.
Well, Joe, I got to ask you about the Commanders, the big win on the road there at Tampa Bay, and now going to face the Detroit Lions, a team that has dealt with a lot of injuries, but we've seen how high-powered that offense is. They run the ball well. They're very balanced, and their defense has been playing a lot better despite some of these injuries. They're getting some guys back. So for a guy, like Jaden Daniels, who's, to me, the rookie of the year, no doubt about it, offensive rookie of the year, case closed, to already to go win a road playoff game in his rookie year, to now have to go and do this, just how tall of an order is that? And, just how big was that wild card win for the Commanders going forward?
Well, the wild card win was absolutely incredible. I mean, it was phenomenal the way they played. But again, it's almost like it's become expected. I mean, you look at the Philly game, you look at the Atlanta game, you look at the Dallas game. Now you look at the Tampa Bay game. They're all the same. They're down to the wires. This is a 60-minute football team. This team doesn't play 59 and 59. It plays 60 minutes of football. And that's the thing that's very impressive. And Jaden is just incredible. He's done a fantastic job as far as the ability to be able to process the offense. I think Cliff Kingsbury's done a great job calling plays. They run the ball just enough now to be respected. And Jaden runs it quite a bit, and they design them for him. He's learned how to take care of himself. He's learned how to get out of bounds. He throws the deep ball as well as anybody in football. Everybody talked about Russell Wilson and the balloon ball and all that kind of stuff. I think Jaden Daniels over anybody in this league when it comes to throwing the ball down the field. So from my perspective, I think they're in really good shape. And defensively, with Deron Payne possibly not being there, it's always been next man up. That's always the way it's sort of been. Lattimore's now on the field and healthier. He took on Mike Evans toe-to-toe during the entire Tampa game, and they're going to have their hands full. There's no question. Detroit at home on that track, they're going to be fast. They're going to be aggressive. And, Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn, they both have the same attitude. They don't believe in punts. It's like, they have a punter. The only reason I look at Washington have a punter because Tress is the holder for the kicker. I mean, that's sort of the way it's been. But I really, really feel like you better not count. Like I said, you can't count Houston out, and you can't count Washington out, even though they're going into a very, very difficult environment to play.
Joe, first of all, man, it's good to have you back. I feel like you're the perfect guy to ask this question to, because you played in the league a long time. You played the quarterback position, and I like to think you probably had a pretty fair relationship with the referees. But I can't imagine that you ever had a time, and I don't want to speak for you, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't imagine you ever had a time where there was a play previously that you felt your team got gypped on a no call, and you're throwing a little fit, you're doing your thing, and then you go sit down on the bench, and the head umpire goes all the way over to your bench and starts not apologizing to you. Was that not the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the league, or is that something that you've seen before? Because I can't get anybody else to confirm that's ever happened to them before.
I don't think so. I've never seen a referee go over and talk to somebody. Basically, by a referee going over, by a head ref going over and talking, I don't know what was said. Does anybody know what the conversation actually was?
The body language made it look like he was apologizing.
It's a body, but body language is different than words.
Sure. Fair.
I can't see a referee going over and apologizing, because quite often in the course of a game, you see back judges, side judges, everybody misses a call.
Yep.
I mean, he'd have to just stand on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And just turn and go, yep, I'm sorry about that one. Nope, sorry about that one. I mean, that's in essence what you'd wind up with. I don't know what the conversation was. Maybe it was an explanation, but to assume it was an apology, I don't think is really right. I did have a situation with Ben Dreif, who, God bless him, was an incredible ref. We were playing the St. Louis Cardinals at our place at that time. They were the St. Louis Cardinals. And EJ Jr. just knocked me up and slammed me to the ground. I turned to Ben, and I said, Ben, you missed that call. And at this time, we didn't have replay. I said, you're going to see that tomorrow. When you look at this game, you're going to see that was roughing the passer. He beat the living daylights out of me. He said, Joe, you may be right, but the longer you argue, the clock's ticking down. And if you want, I'm just going to give you a 5-yard delay of game penalty on top of everything else. So you better get moving. So that was our conversation.
Love it. Love it.
Hey, Joe, it's great to have you back, man. Big fan. Hey,
Thanks,
the Chiefs are in a situation where I know on the surface they're the number 1 seed. Everything's a bed of roses. But if you look at them, the Chiefs really botched the left tackle position this entire even the spring leading up to the regular season. They drafted a kid in the 2nd round. They gave him the job in training camp. And in week 2, in the 4th quarter, they pulled him. His name is Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU. He was benched week 2. They inserted a gentleman by the name of Wanye Morris, who was in his 2nd year. He struggled mightily as well. It got so bad that the Chiefs picked up a DJ Humphries from free agency. He tore his ACL at the end of last year, and they hurried up and put him in the starting position at left tackle at the beginning of December, and he pulled his hamstring. The Chiefs then moved All-Pro left guard Joe Thuney to left tackle. And since they've done that in 2 games against the Texans 3 weeks ago and the Steelers on Christmas, Patrick Mahomes has looked solid. The offense has had fluidity. We're near the end of the season now. All the Chiefs have to do is win 3 more games to three-peat. Do you stick with Joe Thuney, your all-pro guard at left tackle? You keep him there at left tackle throughout the postseason and the Super Bowl, or do you say, well, we want our guard position to be more solidified. Let's put Joe Thuney back at guard and give DJ Humphries another chance. How do you look at it, and what would be your plans going into the playoffs, Joe?
The reason why I'd leave Thuney at left tackle is simply because things have been better since he's been there. You can help the guards out. The left tackle position, you're in an island quite a bit. Anything on the interior, you can help out. Center can help out, either guard. So you have help on the inside. And as you know, being an all-pro inside, he has the athleticism, he has the hands, he has the quickness to play outside. And like you said, they've been better protected. Patrick's been better protected with him on the outside than you were with any of the other guys that played. And I'd stay right where I am. I don't see Andy moving him back inside and saying, this isn't the time of year to say, okay, let's give that guy another chance. No, not at all. You stick with what got you there. I mean, I think he stays at the left tackle position, and it sounds like it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and Joe, we got to talk about your Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the national championship game against Ohio State. A lot of people are talking about Ohio State. They're playing so well. This is going to be a rough shot. They're going to run over Notre Dame, but Riley Leonard is playing great football. May not have the kind of stature and skill that people are looking at as far as like NFL draft pick. Is he a Cam Ward, Shadir Sanders? He's a great college quarterback, great for Notre Dame, runs their system perfectly, uses his legs, and I think that gives them a great chance in this game.
I think so too. You can't count Notre Dame out ever. Our defense, I think it's top in the country. It finished like 3rd, but I still think it's top in the country. Our kicker has come on. We've had kicking has been an issue in Washington and at Notre Dame, but now Jeter's really come on and delivered big time against Georgia, and delivered big time against Penn State. So that part of the game is good. And Riley's done what he's supposed to do. Remember, Riley Leonard got hurt last year when Notre Dame and Duke played. He was at Duke at that time. When he came to Notre Dame, he didn't get any spring. He didn't get any off-season workouts because he was healing. Mike Denbrock, our offensive coordinator, has really had the chance now to be able to develop things around him. The 3 weeks off was really good, I think, for Riley. First of all, he's getting the way he runs the ball, he's getting the living daylights beat out of him. So he had a chance to get his body healed. He also, I think, had a chance to work a little bit more on the passing aspect of the game, and Mike could insert some more things, which we saw against Penn State. And so it's become a bit more of a balanced attack, and I think that's what it really has to be. No question, Ohio State has a lot of athletes. I think Notre Dame has a lot as well. And you're right, Riley is a terrific college quarterback. Could he continue to develop and move on to another level? We don't have enough quarterbacks in the NFL, by the way. We just flat don't have them. We got 32 teams. If you think about it, you need 64 quarterbacks. This year, I believe, last year, I think 65 different quarterbacks started in the NFL. I think it's close to 60 again this year. It's a position that gets beat up, and different teams have had 3 and 4. But as far as the college game goes, Riley he's a tough runner. He throws the ball well. And I think the opportunities are going to be there for us to be able to do something against Ohio State. I mean, that Texas-Ohio State game was a close one up until, the fumble return for the touchdown.
Yeah.
And Texas was on his way in, by the way, at that point.
Well, Joe, I want to talk about the pressure, especially from the quarterbacks in the AFC. Do you find the pressure to be more on a Patrick Mahomes to finish this three-peat, something that's never been done before? And where would that, put Kansas City in the echelon of NFL dynasties? Or do you look at, hey, you got Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, 2 MVP candidates squaring off in the divisional round, and neither one of them have ever been to a Super Bowl. Where does the pressure lie more when it comes to this AFC side of things here?
I don't think the pressure's on Patrick at all. I don't think he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it. Which if you take it in a cavalier way, that's not good. But Patrick would never do that. He knows how important this game is. And like I said, they're going to have full body of weapons around them. I think if you're looking at pressure, there's always that conversation. Well, Lamar didn't get to the big one. Josh didn't get to the big one. I still remember Matt Ryan. Before Matt Ryan got to a Super Bowl, everybody talked about him the same way that they talk about Lamar and Josh. Well, they haven't quite done it yet. They haven't quite gotten there yet. And then he went to the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden the conversation stopped. I don't, at this point, I've always believed, I had a chance to go through the sequence. We were a wild card in 82 and won the division in 83. I always felt more comfortable in games of this magnitude than I did if we were playing a 2-12. We played Tampa. They were like 0-10. You think, oh God, don't let us not be the one win that they get all year. To me, that's pressure. You've prepared for this moment. You're going to be ready for this moment, and someone will judge you, and they always do. And with all the media that's out there now, and somebody's going to judge whomever doesn't make it, and going to say, well, they just didn't get it all, which is a bunch of white noise as far as I'm concerned. But in Patrick's case, he's not even thinking about a three-peat. He's thinking about the Houston Texans. That's where his focus is.
100%.
Joe, I don't want to. Excuse me. I don't want to bounce off Clint's question initially on the first couple questions when he talked about the time off with the Chiefs. That's not necessarily what I want to focus on. But going back to your career, later on in your career is when you experienced the most playoff success. You played in 8 playoff games. And, obviously winning the title in 1982, having a run in 1983. You guys, I know there's different ways of going about it per season. Whenever you have the team that can get back to it, or get, a team that can get there and get it done, there's a mentality that you take on. And I've said that the Chiefs have the most unique run in NFL history here because not only are they going for a three-peat, but their teams and how they're trying to win it are so different. In 2022, they won by explosive plays and high-octane offense with average defense. 2023, can't catch a damn pass, but their defense is so elite. Patrick just needs to be a couple plays, and they're going to win the damn thing. That's what they did. This time, it's such a balance act. I feel the offense is about as complete as it's been in the last 3 years, and the defense is still very, very, very good. The mentality, though, because we saw these last 2 seasons how the Chiefs have approached it, where you can clearly tell that the coaching staff and the team are kind of, putting in neutral here and there because they feel confident if they're going to get a victory here and they're not, show too much, because when the postseason comes, that's when they're really going to go full throttle. And Travis Kelce's alluded to that before, where he's like, I'm sick of the regular season. I just want to get to the postseason and start dancing. And you see him come alive. You see the team come alive. Was that something that you experienced when later in your career, when you've already done the regular season thing, you've had your success, and let's dance in the postseason, man? I'm ready to get to that. I'm ready to start dancing, man. Like, was that the same thing you kind of felt too? Because I feel that a lot of people look at them and see it kind of in a weird way, but I think that this might be more normal than most people expect.
No, I never looked at it that way. I never. Our football team, we look at it's another football game. Man, I can't wait to play. We were like a bunch of little kids.
Yeah.
If somebody showed up at the house on Saturday morning and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Come on, let's go play ball." All right, boom, off, gone, up to the park. That's really the way I approached it, and I think our guys did too. It was a great opportunity, and once you get to the last 2 teams, it's like being in the last foursome in a tournament. You look around on the driving range and there's nobody else there but you and another guy or, another person. When it comes to the Super Bowl at the end, there's 30 teams that aren't working. I always looked at it as really, I still got a job. This is great. I'm still out there playing. This is wonderful. That's the way I always approached it. And you capsuled the Chiefs over the last 3 years perfectly. I do believe they were led by their defense in their first Super Bowl victory. Their offense got more balanced. And for most of the season, they dropped balls. But when it counted towards the last couple games and into the playoffs, they were catching everything.
Yeah.
And they were more complete. Now their running backs are healthy. Travis is going to be obviously excited. They're wide. They still have the speed outside. And Patrick is Patrick. You can sit and argue Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen all day long, of which you think is the best. The difference is Patrick's got a couple of rings on his finger, and the other guys, certainly would want it. And keep in mind, you've heard me say this before. I think the quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field, and I felt like Kansas City last year had the best offensive line in football. I think Philadelphia has a terrific offensive line. I'm proud of the way our guys have come together in Washington. There's so much newness there. I mean, they've really just learned to grow together, but it's all going to depend on the O-line. And when you brought up the Tooney situation, I think he stays right where he is because you need to have that left tackle position where it isn't so much a blind side anymore because everybody's in the gun, but it's the place where people like to rush the most to force quarterbacks out of the pocket.
Absolutely.
Joe, I want to ask you the same question that I had a chance to ask Pat Mahomes Sr. on here 7 weeks ago. And that is, are we expecting too much to have a three-peat? The only reason I asked Joe is because it's never been done. The closest we've really got to it was Joe Montana in 1990, but he suffered that massive injury with 10 minutes left in the game with the 49ers up by 9. I know the Dolphins had a chance to, the first team to ever to three-peat. They lost in the divisional round to the Raiders. The Steelers had a chance to in 76, but they lost the AFC Championship game on the road, ironically, at the Raiders. The Steelers had a chance to in 80, another three-peat, but they were too old. I know, like I said, everybody's goal when they go to training camp is to win the Super Bowl. Are we expecting too much to win a three-peat? Is it beyond our realm of expectation?
I don't believe it's beyond the realm of expectation at all. I think, as I look at it, I mean, if you're a fan, you expect it. I mean, what it is you base expectations off of what you're seeing. And you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs at a very, very high level. They play at a high level. They coach at a high level. Andy Reid's, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's had tremendous success. Love his creativity. And he's got the perfect weapon in Patrick to be as creative as he wants to be. So to me, I think as you enter the playoffs, if you're a fan, you're expecting a three-peat. As a player, you better not be looking past the Houston Texans. I can't say that enough. You just, they're a feisty, fast, aggressive defense, and they have weapons on the offensive side. And CJ hasn't played really good football this year. Till last week, he started to throw the ball a little bit better. And that if the quarterback gets hot against you, then you're in for a real challenge and a real battle. But absolutely, that word doesn't enter a conversation, in my opinion, in the locker room. You don't even think about winning 3. You think about winning 1 and having that other one just happen to show up at the right time.
Joe, we can't thank you enough. We love having you on so much, and every time, you're so kind with your time, and you always get back to me, and it just means a lot. I can't tell you. I told you, you're in my baby book. We're linked forever, 40 years. And before we let you go, we got to hit you with our 4 questions. Final 4. You give us a quick answer. You give us whatever comes to mind. I'm going to start, and we'd be remiss. I got to ask you, who's your Super Bowl champion, Joe?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect answer.
Okay, I'm out. I'm leaving.
They'll play the Washington. Actually, you know what? The Washington Commanders. I changed my mind.
There you go.
I think I'm going Commanders.
It's all pretty natural.
It's been a miracle season. Why not? I'm going Commanders.
Chiefs versus Commanders in the Super Bowl, and we'll see you in New Orleans, Joe. We're going to get you on the damn show this time.
We'll hit the other upright to win it.
We already did that too once. Noah, you've got the figure. You go next.
I do. I got this hallmark ornament of Joe Theismann right here.
yeah.
Beautiful ornament. My question: did you get any kickback on this? Did you?
It was
Did you buying this give you 30 cents or something? Hopefully,
it was nice. Let's put it that way. It was,
Ooh.
I was honored that they did the figurine, and it was very nice of them.
Wow.
Well,
Hey,
I guess
Joe.
in New Orleans, Joe's taking us out to dinner. So
Joe,
I got a great place, that place called Monkey Hill
Oh, yeah.
down in New Orleans. It's a good buddy of mine owns it. It's a great bar, great
Both-
restaurant bar. Yeah.
both Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy have been interviewed for possible head coaching positions. In your opinion, who's the sexier option, Spagnuolo or Nagy?
Well, I sexy. I don't know if that's the
Okay,
word.
not sexy, my bad.
I think both of them would make terrific head coaches. I mean, so much of the coaching is having the right people around you. And, Steve's done a tremendous job defensively, and so has Matt on the other side. So, I mean, there's the creativity. I mean, learning under Andy Reid it's like a PhD in offense. And Steve's been like he's done. You won with defense, and it's just gotten better and better and better. I think both men are extremely qualified to take over a football team and be able to do the things that they need to do to be able to get that football team to be competitive. I think that's the one thing you can say about the Commanders. They've been competitive. It hasn't been sexy. It hasn't been simple. But by the last resort, I mean, it got done. And I think, both of these guys have that capability.
Joe, I haven't asked you a question about Jaden yet, Jaden Daniels, so I have to. I'm really been looking forward to it. It's kind of a two-part. The development of him as a rookie player. Who do you think has been more of an impact to his early, quick development? Has it been Cliff Kingsbury or Dan Quinn's leadership as the head coach? And also, what part of Jaden Daniels' game has impressed you the most to this point of his career? Has it been his poise, or has it been his athletic ability to be able to extend drive with his legs?
I'll sort of answer the second question again. There's so many parts to his game that are impressive. He throws the ball down the field with extreme accuracy. His athleticism is, beyond reproach. His accuracy throwing the football, his release is quick. His judgments are excellent. He has what I call tremendous football intellect. He understands the game. He understands the down and distance. He understands where he is on the football field. He understands all those. And I think Cliff Kingsbury deserves an awful lot of credit to take a young quarterback and not allow him to get beat up. I remember Tom Moore, great coach. I think Tom was coaching in Tampa last time I saw. He was with the Pittsburgh Steelers for many years. We did a camp together too long ago, I guess you could say. And he had Peyton Manning in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And I talked to him, when we were doing games, and I talked to him about Peyton. He said, I wanted to do two things with Peyton. I didn't want to get him beat up physically, and I didn't want to get him beat up mentally. And he said, I want him to be the quarterback here in Indianapolis for decades if he can. And just keep on feeding him and feeding him. And Peyton was so demanding of, give me more, give me more. I think Jaden is that way. I think Cliff's done an excellent job getting him into the rhythm of a game early, whether it's running a little bit, because I used to like to get hit a little bit early in a game just to get going. Of course, when we got hit in a game, it was a little bit different than these guys get today. We had to try and survive the hit. Today, it's like tonight you get pushed to the ground. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's like, oh, gee whiz,
especially if your name's Josh Allen.
Give me a break. But I think Jaden does so many things well, and you know what? He loves the game of football. Of all of the Tampa game, the one thing that stood out to me is they bring in Marcus Mariota there in that last drive, and now Jaden is sort of he's in motion, and he jogs out to the left side, and the Bucks didn't jump, so Dan calls a timeout, and Jaden is he's visiting with the corner. He's just having a conversation. I don't know what was said. And then he walks sort of over to the defensive huddle a little bit halfway there. And it's like he's having a conversation with them. I mean, the kid loves the game. And somebody asked me when Jaden was drafted early, do you think he can handle the pressure? I said, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's been under the spotlight and under this microscope for a long time. He can handle any situation, and he sure has.
Joe, great stuff. Good luck to the Commanders. It's going to be a great weekend of football here, the divisional round. And of course, next Monday, the national championship game. And of course, we want to lead everybody to Amazon. to get the book, How to Be a Champion Every Day. 6 Timeless Keys to Success, Joe. It's still out there, and we're still plugging it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to move back into the fog.
Oh, enjoy it. Enjoy it, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you,
Always
Joe.
mine,
Love
my
you,
friend.
man.
Take care.
See you guys.
Appreciate it. The man.
That's the legendary Joe Theismann. And I ask you out there, I ask you three, and I ask the ether, all of the people listening and watching right now, who's got it better than Arrowhead Allies? The answer, funny enough, is
Nobody.
That's
As
my
Dusty Rhodes said when Hulk Hogan entered the ring before he joined the NWO, he said, "Who's man now? The man is Starcade, baby."
Well, that was tremendous. Guys, Joe Theismann, one of our good friends, one of our best friends here on the show that never lets us down. He is someone that he's so genuine. I can't tell you, like the very first time I was still a teacher back when we first kind of got messaging with Joe, and I can't even remember how we got a hold of him. And I remember I was in class and he called me to set up this interview for, I think it was for the Super Bowl. I think maybe it was like the Seahawks, I think it was Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. We were trying to get this interview set up, and Joe called me in the middle of class. I got to leave. I got to take this phone call from Joe Theismann, and it was one of those just moments, you know. And then Noah and I ran into Joe at LAX. That's the Super Bowl 56. Before that, and just there's just been these little moments. Him coming on here doing this, like he's one of the best. We talk about that Sunday Night Football crew with Paul McGuire and Mike Patrick. To me, it was I go back and watch videos of those games. I mean, those guys got on coaches, they got on refs, they got on players, and they were relentless, and it was great. Broadcasting has changed for the worse. We had it so good back then, we didn't even know it, guys.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's weird how like the athleticism and the quality of the experience when it comes to watching football has gone up. You know, with having streaming services and things, all these conveniences. But you're right, man. It seems like all the beautiful calling and all that it's gone the opposite way. It really sucks to see, but I 100% agree with you, man. I wish we could find a way to mesh the old times and put them together with the new quality of football, man.
Oh,
that would be amazing. Wouldn't you imagine that?
It would.
I take him back right now, Joe. I mean, Joe should be
in a booth.
In a booth.
I wonder if he wants to. You know,
I don't know. We'll
ask him that at the Super Bowl. Hopefully he's there.
So just asked him. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it.
Email him back. Get it back. But Jalen Watson sounds like he could be playing a little bit in this game against Houston. Andy Reid said, "I kind of want to see this week, see how he does. What he's done so far has been good. He's in shape. I'm not telling you he could play a whole game, but I think he has a chance of playing. We'll see." That pretty much in Andy Reid speak means you're probably going to see him out there on a limited snap count. And so that's another thing. They've got Nico Collins. Trent McDuffie's going to kind of gobble him up. And then what do we got? Robert Woods, John Mechie, Dalton Schultz, especially if Watson's out there playing. That limits Najee Johnson playing, which is good for us. Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie. I think that's the group you want out there. And before we kind of move on to predictions here, Patrick Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, they had their third baby, Golden Ray Mahomes. And Brittany even allowed Patrick to watch some playoff football there. So
God bless him. We love it.
That, man.
We love it. This will be great for Starcade Media content for years to come. Keep these kids coming. Mahomes said that might be it. 3 and they're done. I say keep them coming like Phillip Rivers. Not that I believe in marriage or having kids or anything like that, but I'm glad other people that are real humans and real functioning adults are able to navigate through those choppy watters.
Well, they're running out of precious metals to name their kids after, so I don't know if they can have more kids.
Man, you're still Metallica, baby. Woo! For whom the freaking bell tolls, man.
And just a few things before we get out of here. Rex Ryan still talking stuff. Of course, thinks Houston has a real chance here with their pass rush. But Travis Kelce went on saying, "We've definitely heard all the chatter," and Rex Ryan saying that we can't win in the playoffs. We hear everything, but we know what's real and what's in this building. I think we've got a lot of confidence in this team. I love that they hear everything. I hate when players come out and just, "Oh, no, we block out the noise. We don't hear it." I love how they're like, "Oh, no. We hear all these freaking talking heads out here with all these lame takes, and oh, Josh Allen's the best quarterback. No, it's Lamar Jackson. Ravens are the best team in football. No, it's the Bills. It's the Chargers. We don't know, but it's not the Chiefs. That's all we know. It's not the Chiefs."
Anybody else notice that Rex Ryan kind of looks like Chip Hazard from was that the toy movie back in the 90s with the Small Soldiers? He kind of looks like Chip Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
If he had like a potato chip binge, you know what I mean? Like he just kind of looks like one of those guys. let's get the Argonauts. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that Rex Ryan would just dress up like that for Halloween so I could fully make fun of him. Look, guys, we know what this is. It's Rex Ryan. He's out there. He's too busy pining. He's too busy pining for the Jets job to actually break down anything analytical and have any truth behind it. He's entertaining as hell. He's got a polarizing personality. He's got the porcelain teeth. Everybody loves Rex. Let's be real. Everybody loves him like he loves feet. But at the same time, we have to just take this for what it is. It's a joke, just like Rex Ryan. He's a joke. These are things that, honestly, I think we all agree at this point. We love the fact that they do this because all this does is give Travis Kelce and guys like that bulletin board material. It lets Nick on First Things First do his thing where he puts on the board. It only inspires the Chiefs and the community surrounding the Chiefs to lean into it more because it would be kind of boring for everybody if everyone was like, oh my God, the Chiefs are so great, and I can't get enough of them. It would initially be like, okay, I'm getting on a board being great all the time. But when someone presses back, says something stupid as hell like this, or like anything that Rex Ryan has spewed over the last 6 months, it only makes this more fun and more enjoyable so we can all go back and bring out the receipts. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most in February, boys.
You know, I think when you bleach your teeth, it looks really good.
I think they're fake, to be honest. I think they're veneers, but it looks like a row of urinals.
The Jets may not be able to do much better.
There's Aaron Glenn out there. I don't know what Rex Ryan has left if he is to be coach, but we do have a Jets fan in here. It's my guy Rocky Brown from TikTok.
Yo,
it's no TikTok tonight. No, I'm having trouble with my new system fitting all the
banned by now, dude. Get off of
TikTok
it.
Going to be banned? How can we come on?
Also, I kind of find it hard to try and build up the following on TikTok until I know if it's going to stick around. It's like, I don't know.
All I hear is excuses. I mean,
what? That's a good point.
I guess I can take a picture. I've got two computers, a monitor, my Rodecaster. There's an Xbox. I've got a lot of things on this test. My water, my phone. I can't fit it all, so I'm gonna have
That's a lot of tech.
As it is prediction time here because the Chiefs are playing a meaningful football game here this Saturday. Believe it or not, I know it's been a while. I know it's been at the time the game happens. It'll be 23 days, the longest in NFL history in between a football game for a player like a starting player like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I'm not ready to make a prediction yet. I have to think about it. I'm gonna. What you got, Noah?
No, I was going to need some time, but I'll go ahead and get this kicked off because I know Joe Theismann was just here. We love Joe. We love him being on. So gracious with his time. Such a humble, great human being. I know he thinks this is going to be close. We can't overlook. I'm overlooking the Texans. Okay, this is a bye week. Is Rex Ryan? I'll steal something from Rex Ryan there because they don't have Tank Dell. That was really the only way that the Texans were moving the ball and killing us last time. Once he got injured, they really struggled. And now that Jalen Watson's going to be out there, we've had all this rest. We're healthy. I'm not sure. I mean, we see that Nico Collins is out here limited in practice. Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, a porous offensive line. CJ Stroud not playing great. I think this is 27-17, 10-point victory. We're not used to kind of 2-score victories around here in Kansas City, but it's playoff time. These guys are focused. They want the three-peat. I think it's just a nice ho-hum, easy 27-17 win.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs freaks worldwide of all ages, I want to thank you. Noah and Clinton Lance want to thank you for tuning into Starcade Media. We got you covered all playoff Saturday. Tune into Lance and Trevor Twidwell of the Spoken at 11 a.m. Central Time for pregame, and Shaggy Shane and Harvey Williams along with starting fullback Billy Jones from 1989 through 92 on postgame. Starcade has got you covered. And in my prediction for this game, I'm going to let Tony Russell speak for it right there. Tony Russell has the game 35-17. That's the way it's going to be. I agree with him 110%. I know Lance and I disagree respectfully on who the left tackle should be. I'm going with Joe Tooney, like Joe Theismann and I say. Lance, what's your prediction? Who's starting the game at left tackle, and what is the final score, my brother?
No, I don't think there's any question. Humphries is going to play left tackle to start this game, and if it goes awry, and I'm not expecting it to, but if it does go awry, Joe Tooney will play left tackle and Caliendo will play left guard. I think Andy Reid has a built-in safety valve, and he knows that Joe Tooney can do it. I think they're going to give Humphries every opportunity because they wanted Humphries to be the guy. They spent the money. As soon as he was medically cleared, he became the guy. So I'm expecting that to happen. But I will say about this game, guys, look, the narrative has been what all season? Oh, the Chiefs, man, they're one of the 3 teams that couldn't score 30 points or more than 30 points all season, and the other 2 teams were horrific record-wise. You don't think that's been something that the Chiefs have been thinking about? The Chiefs are going to go in here and they're going to drop over 30. In fact, I'm going to give them 1 more point than 30. I think the Chiefs drop exactly 31 in this game. I think they're going to have 4 touchdowns, and I believe that Patrick Mahomes has all 4 in the air. I think Patrick's going to throw 4 in this game, and I am predicting that Travis Kelce is going to have a game very similar to the game he had back the last time they faced the Texans in the divisional round 5 years ago, if we're being exact, where he had 10 catches for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm expecting Travis Kelce to have 10 receptions for over 100 yards and at least 2 touchdowns in this game. Because Travis Kelce has been, if you watch the way he's been playing, look at the Steelers game. They were drawing up plays you had not seen all season for Travis Kelce, and he was wide freaking open. I am telling you right now, we're going to see a very similar performance in this one where Travis Kelce goes the hell off, because they also know that he is so close to Clint Switzer's best friend, Jerry Rice's records, and he's going to go after him. He's going to get those records. And what better way to start it off than your weakest opponent in this week?
Heck yes.
I don't know what to say to that. I'm watching One Tree Hill all over again. I didn't know this. One Tree Hill is I love it. I'm addicted to this teen drama from the early 2000s. And who pops up on an episode in season 7? That's right. There was Jerry Rice just in my face in One Tree Hill. And I'm like, well, I thought I could at least escape from him here. Not so fast.
Rice.
I think, guys, the Chiefs there's going to be enough moments where the Chiefs leave points on the field. Butker misses a field goal. CJ Stroud converts 8 of 9 third downs to keep him in the game, a bit like they did last time. And I see this as like Noah said 27-17. I'm going to say like 26-16, 26-17, like just over the 2-score mark or maybe on the cusp of it. I think the spread's right at 7.5. So I'm going to give the Chiefs covering the spread. Chiefs win this. And I'm just going to go one step further and hosting the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
I like that.
Next Sunday at Arrowhead, or the next Sunday.
31-13, by the way, is my full prediction.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs defense beats the living hell out of the Texans. 31-13.
And I think we got a Texans fan in here, so you think it's going to be just like 5 years ago.
I 100% believe.
Travis Kelce not down 24-0.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to drop 51. I don't believe that. That was an unprecedented run they just went on. What was it, 7 straight touchdowns they went on? If I'm not mistaken, it was 6 straight touchdown drives or something like that. I don't expect that. This is a better Texans team now.
Patrick Mahomes got 0 Pro Bowl votes. He just had his 3rd kid 2 days ago. You think he's feeling it? I think he's feeling it. Sorry, Texans fan. Patrick Mahomes is going off.
Yeah, and Rocky, you're right. That's the last time I let Clint go after me. Price is right in me. He just took my score and downed it.
I did. That is $1.
Well done.
$1, Rocky.
Well, we can't thank you all enough for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us everywhere on social media, TikTok until the 19th, and then your follow goes away because it's banned. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, everywhere. Follow, subscribe. You guys know the things. If you don't, then you're probably not going to help us out much because you're not even on social media because you don't know the things. You need to know the things. It's 2025. Know the things. But anyway, the Chiefs are taking down the Texans. Can't thank you all enough for watching. This has been Arrowhead Allies.
We're really out of time, guys.
Oh,